Hi, everyone, and thanks for tuning in again. This is Brenda and Tracy, and this is episode 4 of our podcast, Beating the Odds, the Lighter Side of Stroke Recovery and Survival. So, we start, in case you haven't tuned in before, we start each episode with a question of the day. So, today's question of the day is, what was life like for you before the stroke? Brenda, you're on.
I'm happy I'm answering for myself because if someone else answered for me, they might say she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I can't believe that. I
well,
don't believe that.
well, meaning like she was go go go.
Oh, yeah.
And what I have to say is one of the analogies that I gave to this whole event happening was it was almost like God was like, "You're not gonna slow down. I'm gonna put on your emergency brake for you."
Yeah. You don't listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop everything. And so, I think that I was busy with not only work, and I was working at a children's summer camp, and I was busy with hiring and training staff and helping to run the camp in the summer. But I also had my own 3 kids, and I was
Mhm.
very busy volunteering at their schools. I was like, I didn't like to let the grass grow underneath my feet. So,
No,
let's just
you were
say that. Um,
always on the move.
so, so I think that one of the things that really forced me to contend with when I had to stop because I just couldn't keep that pace or really any pace was that I had to really contend not only with the actual results of the stroke, but I had to contend with other things. I think I was probably trying to be so busy that I wasn't actually dealing with them.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's a whole. We could pull on a psychologist for that.
A whole other episode.
But anyways, I won't. I'll just leave that little teaser out there.
Okay. You put a pin in it.
Yeah. But so
So,
yeah, I was busy.
oh, yeah, but describe to me your everyday at the camp. Like, you ran the whole camp. What was the camp called?
Well, it is still
It is
called
still
Echo
going.
Lake. It is
Yeah.
still Echo Lake, and I didn't run it myself. I was part of a wonderful um, team, and it was definitely it was long days. And it was I used to say that when people would say, "Can I talk to you?" I'd say, "Yeah, if you can keep up with me." So they would walk along beside me and talk as I'm like zooming along to something else. Um, and now when people say they see me with a walker, they say, "Take your time." I'm like, I only have one speed.
Yeah.
This is me rushing. This is me rushing. This is me slow. This is me. So thank you for saying take my time, but this is all I got.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you get.
That's right. That's right. So,
So you were constantly moving and planning and working things out and hiring, and were you planning activities for the kids? And
no, we had a program staff to do that. Um, but I mean, it's the way that I described it is kind of like as the kids, you're experiencing camp. As a staff, you're behind the first curtain. And for me, I was behind the second curtain because I was
okay,
planning for the staff who were doing the thing. So it was
gotcha,
a little intense,
gotcha.
but I
No,
loved it.
you do. I know. I remember you working there, and it was so important to you. Is that where you met Jay?
It is. Yes, we met there in 1993. We met there, yeah. And it's it's as with everything. There's the upside and struggles with anything, right?
Yeah.
So like with stroke, like there's a lot of downside, but there are some surprising upsides. So, um, obviously, a big upside of camp is meeting each other, and therefore our family came from that. But it is also the very thing that took me away from him every year. So
Right.
it's tricky
Yeah.
because you're holding both at the same time.
Right. So was he living in Canada at that time? Because you were in New York.
Yeah. In the summers, you mean? Yes. So yes, in the summers I would go down to the camp, and he would stay here, and he would come visit on the weekends if he could. Um, but yeah, it was definitely not conventional. But as you know, we had already gone the first 6 years of our dating. We were already long distance because I was at Geneseo and
Right.
then working in Watertown, and he was here in Montreal. So we had already kind of like um broken our teeth on the whole idea of long distance. But it's very different when you're in college and not married than when you're an adult and have 3 kids. That's very
Oh, yeah.
different.
It's a huge difference. And I give so much credit to Jay. He's such a sweetheart. And I've never met him, but I can't wait to come visit you guys and meet him and your kids. And you were so blessed to have him as a partner, and he's stuck with you through all of this. And he deserves a trophy, a medal, whatever.
Well,
But he
what am
loves you
I?
so much.
I am the my chopped liver. I'm the medal.
Well, that's what I meant. On top of you, on top of what you offer. No, I mean, there. I have to say, I'm single. I wasn't in a relationship when it happened. Um, but I can't imagine it happening and having children and trying to recover and losing all that we lost in our abilities and still having to take care of children. Like, I just can't fathom it. Like, I'm sure Jay helped a ton, but was your family able to step in and help, or?
Absolutely. But I want to ask you about your time before. What were you like before your
Oh.
aneurysm?
Um, so the year before this happened, this is where I think everything happened for a reason. I had been living in Rochester, New York after college, for about 9 years. And I loved my life up there because I was never really a fan of Long Island. It's just very different. The attitudes here and, how people are here. And so I loved being in Rochester, and I was working in an inner city school, first as a paraprofessional and then as a special ed teacher, but I still had to work toward my master's. So it was like, not really, it was provisional. They needed a teacher, and I was actually visiting my friends there who were, at school number 5 in Rochester. And the vice principal at the time, Catherine Eckert, she called me down to the office and she said, "We need your help," because I was working at a preschool job. Like, I was working as a disability specialist for UPK, and I had just started that job. I think I was there for like 4 months. And she said, "We have a teacher right now who has the 611 class. That's the option 3. Um, those are the kids that just have so many behavioral problems and violence, and, they have so many issues going on." And she said, "We can't keep her because she has no classroom control. She has no control of the class, and she's not working out. And we need you to take it over. You know the kids," because I had been a paraprofessional there and knew these kids when they were real young, and now
Right.
they were 4th and 5th graders.
Wow.
So I said, "Catherine, I'm not certified yet." And she said, "No, it'll be provisional, and you have to work toward, as long as you're taking, I think, 2 classes towards your master's and certification, then it was totally fine." So I did that. So I worked with those kids, and it was tough. So I was doing that. And then a relationship I was in didn't work out. And the teaching job, they ended up hiring the next year, hiring someone that was certified and, had her master's. So I was out of a job with teaching. So I went to real estate. I'm like, what can I do now? So I went and got my real estate license. And
Wow.
so I did
Wow.
that and I also was substitute teaching. I was allowed to substitute teach in the district. So I juggled those two things. And that was a lot. So I was taking on my breaks. I was like checking in on my real estate stuff and then setting up open houses and showings and things like that. And then I'd go back to the classroom while I was subbing. So that was a little crazy. But then eventually, I was in a relationship that just didn't work out, and I ended it. And I said, I can't do this anymore. So I was kind of lost. Now, I didn't have the job that I really wanted. The relationship didn't work out. I was really like, what do I do now? And my sister and my brother are here on Long Island. And I think I was venting to them. And my sister goes, just come home. Just come home. And I'm like, what? I can't. It's been 9 years. I can't just come home. Now, at this time, my mother had already passed away. She passed away in 1998. So now it's 2002. It's like Christmas time of 2002. And my sister's like, you can stay here with us at the house while you're looking for a job. And when you lock down an apartment, and then you go, you'll have some money after, you start working, and then you go find your own apartment. So I'm like, all right, I did that. So I made the trip home to Long Island, here in Patchogue, where I am now. I wasn't always here, but I am now. And that's what I think, everything happens for a reason, because if I had still be living in Rochester and this rupture happened, I probably would have been living alone. There would have been nobody to call 911, and I probably would have bled out and not be here today. But because I live with family and my sister and my brother were there when I had the seizure, had the stroke, and went unconscious finally, um, that saved my life. So that's where I think everything happens for a reason, and that we can get all spiritual and philosophical about that, but that's the truth in my eyes. So the year that I got back here, I looked for a job. I was here at Christmas time in 2003. I got a job that February, and it was at Huntington Learning Centers. And it was like, I wasn't teaching, but I was more managerial, and I was like managing the teachers who were tutors at this learning center. So I did that for a couple of months, and then they gave me a promotion. There were some issues with one of the other employees, and he was asked to leave, and they gave me that promotion. So I was doing more of outside work. I was visiting schools and going over kids' plans. And then shortly after that, I think it was probably, let's see, November of that year of 2003, they made me, I think it was October actually, they made me center director. So now I'm running the whole center. And as you know, it's all about enrollment, budgets, retention, all those things. And I was juggling a ton. And I was working 10-hour days probably, but then I would be able to get out on Friday a little earlier. So I had some flexibility, but it was still very long and very stressful. So I was doing that. And then in November, a friend of mine, Michelle, she's like, we're all going to Las Vegas. You have to come to Las Vegas. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It's probably the only time I'll get to go to Vegas. So there was like 10 of us girls, and we all went to Vegas, and it was just the time of our lives. And, we were up all night and going to sleep at like 5:30 after we went to the diner, and slept till 10, and then went, out in the sun and did the same thing for like 8 days or 9 days. It was crazy. Wow. But I had all the stamina in the world for stuff like that.
Right.
So that was November. And that January is when I think you know who stopped me right in my tracks. Like, you are going way too fast with way too much.
Right.
And things were falling at the wayside. I didn't have any kids or anything, but I think my family relationships, things, we were all close, but I was ignoring some things that I should have been doing, taking care of myself and, really addressing things. So that's when the aneurysm happened. So I was only at my job for 11 months, and it was very stressful having gotten two promotions in that 11 months that actually helped me with my long-term disability policy because they went on my last salary. So that was a blessing. But so that's what I was doing. Like you, I was going in different ways. But I've always worked with kids. And, kids are stressful at times, and kids are a lot, especially special ed kids and behaviors and things like that. So, yeah, we had the old us and now the new us. And that brings me to the conversation about, when did you find the time, or when was it that you can remember that you said, okay, this is me now. This is the new me. Do you remember about when that happened? How far in you were?
That's a great question. I get a little bit particular with certain phrases and words that people use, certain things that people say, and one of the things is when someone say to me, "You're different," I feel like there's a lot about me that's different. Yeah, absolutely, but yet I am me.
Yes.
The essence of me is exactly the same.
Yes.
A lot of what is different was always there. It just was revealed. And as we're talking about being so busy, I think I was kind of cloaking some of those realities about who the real me is. And when I had to get to the point of this, not change version of me, but kind of like this most recent iteration of me.
Yes.
I had to really kind of come to accept some of those things. And I have said over and over, I've lost track of how many times I've said that to accept something doesn't mean you like it.
Yes.
I don't like some of the things that I had to accept, but I've had to accept it because that's just the way they are.
Yeah.
And I got really, really prickly with Jay at one point early on when the word anymore would come up.
Oh.
So like, even if it came out of my mouth, but like, if I'm not driving anymore, or you're not doing this anymore. I'm like, wait a minute, what about not yet, or
Yeah.
or in a
so-
modified way, or and listen, I think it's like walking a razor's edge of accepting certain things, but not being naive. So like driving, for example, is something that and believe me, I loved to be able to drive, to have that independence.
Yes.
I had my red Jeep Wrangler, and I had my white Vespa. I loved it.
Oh, wow.
But I think that I have kind of come to terms with, because really probably my fear of hurting anyone else or putting anyone else at risk trumps my own wishes for
Right.
what I want it to be.
Yeah.
That said, we're coming up on 6 years in January. Jay is still renewing my license. I'm like-
Really?
I'm like,
Oh, good.
I think maybe the anymore is actually applicable.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
but I think really what he's doing is being supportive of that phase of me saying, wait a minute, I'm not ready to kind of like accept that piece of it.
Yeah.
So it is such a um it's not a linear process of like, okay, you're here and you accept. It's kind of like, maybe you start to accept, then something happens and you get set back, and then you accept a
Yep.
little bit more, then you get set back, then you get accept a little more.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like where I'm at. And there were certain things that I was much quicker to accept about myself,
Okay.
and other things that took up much more um and maybe I'm still kind of like trying to come to terms with. We'll see. We'll get to it. Anyways, and you?
Mhm. Yeah. Not yet. Sometime soon you'll be able to, like, anymore seems so final. And
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
I would.
like a nail in the coffin.
Yeah, like there's no option, never. So I totally get that. Um, I think for me, it probably happened right at the first year and a half. Now, I'm not sure if you experienced this, but when you first go home and you go to your follow-up appointment, and I remember talking to the neurosurgeon. My sister was there, of course. She took me to the office visit. And I think I was using a cane, and I was still kind of bald from when they shaved my head for the shunt and all this other stuff. But I remember the neurosurgeon saying to me when I said, "But I can't do this right now, and I used to be able to do this, but now I can't focus and I get so tired." And he said to me, "Just be grateful you're alive." And that stung so badly. Like, yeah, I think in the beginning we are just so elated that, holy cow, we made it. Like, I made it. I'm alive. Yeah. But then, I think it was like 10 months later, so it was probably that October, I kind of got depressed, and I'm like, all right, now what? Is this life now? Like, is this, yeah, I may be able to do certain things again,
Right.
but I didn't feel the same.
Right.
I didn't feel, yeah, some of my personality was there, but I became pretty quiet. You remember in Geneseo how obnoxious I was and loud. You have those memories of me. And now I'm much more subdued. And I think part of that was I never wanted to raise my voice or get too loud since the aneurysm rupture, because it would trigger a headache. So I started speaking softer
Interesting.
and not really laughing at everything so much. And I don't know. It's that. And because of that, everyone's like, you're different. Like you said, like, what happened? Like, I just want you to be who you used to be. And I'm like, well, I'm still me, but I don't want another headache. So I'm not as loud. And I think that developed after 20 years now, that I am just more soft-spoken, and I'm not always in the conversation, or I'm not the life of the party. Not that I ever was, but that I'm not as involved and going here and going there and have an opinion all the time. I still have an opinion, but I don't think I'm as vocal as I was. So that point, that triggered some depression, and that's when I really had to think about it. Like, okay, you survived, you made it, and I'm so grateful I made it, but I have to figure out now what. I needed purpose. I needed a sense of purpose, because now I wasn't working. I was living, but I had an apartment, and the day that the rupture happened, I had gone to the apartment and put down my deposit, and I was going to move in the week after that.
Wow.
So crazy, right?
Wow.
So when I was in the hospital, my sister came to me and she said, what house did you put your deposit on? Because you're getting that back, because you're not going anywhere. You're going to be with us.
Wow. Wow.
I was like, I was this close to getting away.
Wow, wow, wow.
But yeah, that's when things changed. Like, okay, I have to really accept these changes in me and accept how things are now. And that's what I mean by the new me and the old me.
Right,
And
right,
that's, I think, one of the biggest problems or the biggest issues for people is that they feel stuck. And I think what helped me was getting over that hump of, okay, acceptance.
right,
Like, yeah, this happened and things are going to get better each day. And they
right.
did. But it took so much time, you know? So, yeah, you just, I don't know, people are watching this. Don't give up at all in your therapies and in growing and in developing more activities that you can do and put your effort towards, because changes are going to happen. And you do get better a little bit every day. But I think there's a point that once you accept how things are now, then like, oh my gosh, this was awful. Like I always wanted to downplay it. I don't know if you wanted to downplay it. I never wanted to be so much of a burden, so I would downplay what I was feeling
Right, right, right,
or how hard something was. And I'm like, I'd make a
right,
joke of it.
right.
Like, oh God, I just banged into that wall again, because when I couldn't see on the left, I would turn from the kitchen to go down the hall to my room and I would bang into the wall, the doorway. But then we started laughing about those things. And if I was in the kitchen, there's so many people in our house. If someone came up to me on the left and they didn't make any noise, and I turned and walk, boom, we were banging into each other. And
Yeah,
then
well,
that became a joke, like, oh, Aunt Tracy doesn't see you there, or you got to make some noise so she knows you're there, because without turning my head, it was just a blank spot. I didn't see it. So yeah, that was huge to accept the new me. With all the differences, and some were good. Like you said, there were some certain positive things that came of it. But that was huge for me. And that brings me to a video I saw on TikTok of this stroke survivor. And I can't remember his name now. I'm so bad. But he had issues with insomnia and night terrors for a while in his recovery from stroke. And he wrote this letter to himself. And I found it so moving and so important to hear. The message was just meaningful. I'm going to attach it because I asked him and he said yes, I could share it. And it will have his name and his TikTok account. So I hope you follow Paul, because that just meant so much to me when I saw that. And I'll share it with you too, Bren. But
thank
I'll
you.
attach that on the end of this video. And I think that's all for today. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I just think that throughout, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself over and over, but as much as you can give yourself space and grace, because you're gonna go through, like I said, it's not linear. You're gonna go through so many loop-de-loops, and you're gonna have days that you feel like, what the hell's going on? But you know what? I say all the time, it's a day. It's just a day. I
Yeah,
mean, and a lot could happen in a day, but that means tomorrow's a day too. So who knows what could happen?
yeah,
So be hopeful, be positive.
yeah. Your
That
positivity is, oh my gosh, it means so much to me. I mean, it's contagious. You are such a positive person, and you gave me that journal, and I still have it.
yeah,
You created this journal and
yeah,
published it for
yeah.
survivors, and you still do so much, and you're a brilliant writer, and you still have your blog that you still write in about your accomplishments. And
Um, I haven't been doing that, but I write each week, and I'm gonna be writing because I call it my plus piece. So on January 8th, it'll be my plus 6, and that you're
okay,
January as well.
Yeah,
you're
January
what?
23rd, yeah.
23rd. That's your plus 21, right?
Yeah,
And I say plus because those are the bonus days, the bonus years that we've
yeah.
gotten.
We
So
weren't supposed to have.
to what your doctor said, like be thankful you're alive. Okay, I mean, yes, you can be thankful, but you can also still strive for more. And I really think about that all the time. Like I have to at the same time be content if this is as good as it ever gets, but I'm gonna keep striving for more.
Yeah,
And
true.
that's what I aim to do.
Yeah, and you pushed me to do the same.
Good, good,
I'm so happy
good,
that
good,
we
good,
came back together and that
good,
we have
good.
these moments and we're doing this, and I think it's so great, and I hope that we are helping so many others. So,
I guess, and on that note, before you give the tip of the day, um, if there's anybody watching that would love to participate in the conversation, please be in touch with us because we would love to have you on as a guest.
yeah,
Because we're
definitely.
not the only ones. We're not the only
Right.
two experiences. There's
Yeah.
lots of experiences out there. We'd love to share that.
And please share your thoughts in the comments of everywhere that we post. We put the full episode up on YouTube. Um, and then you can comment there, leave your email or your handle on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll reach out to you and see if you could join us. But please comment, like our videos on all the platforms, and share because we want to grow and we just want to reach as many people as we can. So
Absolutely.
with that, what was the tip of the day we were going to do?
We said to utilize technology as much as possible.
Oh, technology. That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Save my memory.
Yeah.
So it gets very difficult to keep things straight. Appointments and just different events and things you want to do in your social life. We have our handy dandy phone, and right now I'm using mine as my camera, but I use that for so much. I have a Samsung. I don't use Apple, but I have Samsung Notes, and I have a note as like little files of like doctor's informations and things like that. And then I use so much. I use the calendar on my phone because, Bren, like you said, if it's not in the calendar, it's
It's
not
not
happening.
happening. Hey, that's right. That's right.
So use your calendar, use those things, find the strategies that are going to help you get by. Um, for me, I had to learn the hard way not to trust my memory. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll remember that.
Mhm.
No, missed appointments.
You're right, right, right,
So
right.
when I'm at a desk of a doctor's office and they say, okay, you want to make your next appointment? And I take out my phone and we look at the dates and then I check my calendar to see when I'm available. And then I say, okay, that's good. I don't leave that person's desk until I enter, like spell it all out. Dr. So and so, the day, the time, color code it, everything. She goes, do you need an appointment card? I'm like, nope, it's in my
Yeah,
calendar. We're
that's
good.
right.
So,
That's
yeah,
right.
our tip would be use technology. There's so much out there for you to utilize. And I definitely rely on it. And I know Brenda does, because when we talk about what we're going to do next, we break out our calendars.
That's right. I
Yeah,
mean,
so helpful.
that amount of technology I can use, but it comes to this technology, I leave that to Tracy because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well,
It's
I'm
like,
not doing so great because I keep having connection issues. But yeah, I enjoy doing the editing and things like that. But
so we'll be your support, but we cannot be cyber criminals for you. So if you're in the mob, don't reach out to us because we can't help.
we'll be your cheerleaders. Um,
So,
yeah, so that's all for now. Like I said, I'm going to put um that note, that video poll with the brainstorm made on TikTok, on right after we end here.
we need to have a little jingle. We
Yes,
need to
we need
make a
some
little
kind. It's
jingle.
called,
Yeah.
you know, it's called an outro,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it's a phrase that we say at the end
So,
of every
so
episode.
any ideas, we welcome them.
Yeah, give us some ideas. We don't know what to say at the end, like adios, see you next time. Like,
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, help us out with that. I do have to create some kinda intro and outro. But thanks again for watching and tuning in, and thanks for sharing and commenting and all that good stuff, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care
Next
now.
time. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So today marks the first year since having my stroke, and I'm going to post something that I actually wrote about 6 months ago. At the time, I was still suffering from partial insomnia and night terrors, and I woke up at about 2 a.m. My mind had brought me back to that first night after the stroke, when I knew what had happened to me, but I didn't know what recovery was going to look like at all, and I couldn't really get anyone to explain it to me. So I thought to myself, what would I say to myself then with what I know now? And I sat down and I wrote a letter. This is actually part of a larger series that we're going to be doing at Brainstorm, but I thought it was important to sort of post it today in its raw form as I wrote it 6 months ago. If you're in a similar situation as myself, I strongly suggest that you do the same thing. It's not only therapeutic, if you post it, it could help somebody.
Congratulations. If you're reading this, there's a good chance you've beaten some pretty horrific odds. You probably have very little desire to celebrate, and for good reason. This sucks ass. Despite the well-intentioned battle cries of loved ones, insisting you've got this, the next few months will very likely be the worst of your life. But I'm here to tell you, it is possible to get to the other side of this. Very likely even. These first days will be hell, consistent with a persistent fear of everything. Despair is going to try to consume you. It'll be the fight of your life, but you have to fight back. Dignity will have to be thrown out the window. Depending on the severity of the deficits the stroke have left you with, your medical team will be taking over some very personal things. You may have to rely on them to clean you, feed you, and maybe even wipe your ass. One of the more important things you'll need to do right now is get over yourself. Rehab in general will demand this, both short-term and long-term. The instruction book on how to move forward after a stroke unfortunately didn't automatically download when you had one. Neither did the So Now You're Disabled guidebook. So this education will be hard won. You're about to discover that you can be surrounded by people, even people who love you, and still feel completely alone. This goes back to your battle with despair. You can't let it hold you back. You'll have to learn to live with it. I'm not going to lie to you, you may still feel this way for months, even years into your recovery, long after you've been sent home. But there will be help, and you'll value it more than you can express. Peer support, other survivors, connecting to people who share your experience will help make this feel less lonely. They will also be your instruction manuals, so seek them out. So now days or even weeks have gone by and it looks like you're not going to die. Not in the foreseeable future anyway. The doctors have stabilized your vitals and rehab's about to start its engines. This is your new job. It's a full-time job and you'll have to give your whole self over to it. It's going to be relentless, but it will also be rewarding. Just know, like you, your rehab team did not receive a manual specific to your needs. They will have to feel things out. No two strokes are exactly the same, and a huge part of their skill is adapting on a case-by-case basis. Let them. Be patient with them. Listen to them, do what they say, but also go beyond. They'll give you the blueprint, but you're the one that has to build. Very likely your team won't have more than an hour a day with you. The rest of the day is all yours. The key now is strength. You have to rebuild strength back, both in the side affected by the stroke and the one that still works. Surprisingly, there's a lot you can do from your bed, and that's where you're going to start. Look up tutorials on YouTube and throw yourself into it. You now have all the time in the world. After strength, repetition is your next tool. You're going to hear the word neuroplasticity a lot. Repetitive motion is what teaches the brain to rewire. It may feel like you're putting in the hours and the days and nothing is happening, but it is. One day a part of your body that hasn't moved in weeks will twitch, shift, or even bend, and that will be the first domino. The smallest progress will feel like the biggest win, and every inch of it will be earned. Early on, you probably had a doctor give you a grim diagnosis. Something like, you're never going to walk again. Ignore that. They think they're being realistic, but the truth is they just don't know. Your progress will depend on what you put into it. That's not to say everything will magically fix itself, but no one knows enough about you to make such a definitive claim, so screw them. People will be both a blessing and a challenge. You're going to hear unsolicited comments about your condition. People with no experience suddenly becoming experts. Some will share stories of others who didn't make it in a misguided attempt to remind you that you're lucky to be alive. But those comments come from a place of privilege, or maybe even ignorance. Lucky isn't being unable to dress yourself. It isn't peeing into a bag. And it sure as hell isn't losing use or feeling of part of your body. There will be people who love you. They will reach out. Let them. Remember, they're scared too. Others, whom you expected to show up, may disappoint you. And then there'll be those who surprise you. You're now part of a community. Unfortunately, the membership requirements were brutal. But you're not alone. There are people who care deeply about you, even if you've never met them. We are bonded by trauma. No two experiences are exactly the same, but we have a pretty good idea of what each other's going through. We feel for one another. As I said earlier, seek us out, share your story, listen to ours. It'll help you heal. Now you might be thinking, that's great and all, but what about the fact that I remember who I am and my wife, but I have no idea what this cell phone thing is. I have absolutely no recollection of what they are. What is that about? Unfortunately, the side effects of stroke are so incredibly diverse that I can't possibly list them in one letter. Ideally, this would be a living document, updated by other survivors like a choose-your-own-adventure guide. Feeling like a loved one's been replaced by an identical imposter? Or you're in a place that looks familiar but feels fake. Flip to pages 123 and 187 to read about Capgras delusion and reduplicative paramnesia. There's a large community of stroke survivors online, and there's a good chance you'll find someone who's gone through something similar. Above all, know this, your story isn't over. You've already done something extraordinary by surviving. Now comes the slow, frustrating, painful work of reclaiming your life. Early in my recovery, I was informed that many survivors regard their stroke date as their new birthday. There's a new you, and you are yours to make how you wish. It won't be easy, and it won't be fair, but you're not alone. We're out here, fighting our own fight, cheering you on and walking beside you, even if you can't see us. So keep going. Rest when you need to. Pray if it suits you. Cry when you have to. Scream whenever possible, but don't stop. You're still here. And that matters. You matter.